For decades, AMD was the second player in semiconductors behind Intel, but in recent years it has staged a remarkable comeback. Founded in 1969, this company specializing in processors and graphics chips had fallen behind its rivals. However, today it has closed the gap and even surpasses Intel in several key segments. This shift is reflected in record figures. In 2024, AMD recorded $25.8 billion in revenue, its highest level ever. In this privileged context, the question arises, how did AMD get here? What explains its growth, and what does the future hold? In its early years, AMD participated in the competition to standardize x86 processors and even took on manufacturing Intel chips for IBM. Over time, it stood out with Athlon CPUs for PCs and Radeon GPUs after acquiring ATI in 2006. However, at the beginning of the last decade, the company suffered setbacks. Earlier architectures like Bulldozer in 2011 failed to meet expectations, and in 2014, AMD was on the verge of bankruptcy, with its shares trading at just $2 to $4. The arrival of Dr. Lisa Su as CEO in 2014 marked the turning point. She inherited a company on the brink of collapse and oriented the strategy toward redesigning processors. In 2017, the Zen architecture debuted under the Ryzen and EPEC brands, dramatically improving performance. According to Forbes, Zen achieved record revenue and market share in CPUs for AMD, restoring competitiveness to the giant. Shortly after, AMD expanded its reach with successful graphics products using the RDNA architecture for Radeon and secured major contracts. In 2020, it supplied chips for the PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series consoles, accumulating massive semiconductor sales for gaming. The final step of this phase was the acquisition of Xilinx, announced in October 2020 and closed in February 2022. It was the largest merger in semiconductor history, at nearly $50 billion. With Xilinx, AMD added over 15,000 engineers and entered new markets, including data centers, 5G communications, automotive, and industry. This deal boosted AMD's market capitalization, which came to exceed Intel's, and strengthened its position as a direct competitor to Intel in servers. Thus, after surviving near bankruptcy, AMD emerged reborn thanks to key innovations and strategic moves. And this brings us to today, to what's making headlines right now. In October 2025, AMD announced a game-changing deal, a multi-billion-dollar partnership with OpenAI to supply chips worth tens of billions of dollars. This isn't just another contract. This is AMD positioning itself at the center of the artificial intelligence revolution. The market's reaction was immediate and explosive. AMD shares skyrocketed 28.3% in a single day, adding billions to the company's market value. But why is this deal so significant? OpenAI, the company behind ChatGPT and one of the leaders in artificial intelligence, needs massive computing power for its data centers. By choosing AMD over its competitors, OpenAI is validating AMD's technology at the highest level. This partnership reinforces AMD's role as a strategic partner in the race for AI processors, directly challenging NVIDIA's dominance in this space. The current market situation shows AMD in an incredibly strong position. The first quarter of 2025 results were impressive. Data center revenues from servers with ePYC processors and Instinct GPUs increased 57% compared to the previous year. Desktop PC revenues rose 68% due to strong adoption of the new Zen 5-based Ryzen processors. For the company as a whole, this represented a 36% year-over-year revenue increase in that quarter. Right now, AMD is capitalizing on multiple fronts simultaneously. In the data center market, they're winning contracts with Microsoft Azure, Amazon AWS, and Meta. In the consumer market, the Intel-AMD sales ratio has shifted dramatically to just 2-to-1, compared to 9-to-1 a few years ago. The company's stock price hovers around $203, and CEO Lisa Su has become a billionaire, her net worth hitting $1 billion thanks to her company shares. What we're witnessing today is AMD at the peak of its transformation. The gaming segment may have seen a 30% year-over-year drop in the first quarter of 2025 as console sales stabilized. But this has been more than offset by explosive growth in AI, cloud computing, and data centers. The company that was trading at $2 per share in 2014 is now a tech powerhouse commanding premium prices and winning the most prestigious contracts in the industry. With its current momentum, AMD faces the future with extraordinary ambition. The Zen 5 architecture, launched in August 2024, is already powering the Ryzen 9000 series for desktops and EPYC 9005 Turin for servers, setting new performance benchmarks. But AMD isn't stopping there. RDNA 4 is in development for the next generation of Radeon GPUs, promising to shake up the graphics card market once again. The AI battleground is where AMD's future will be decided. The company is heavily investing in Instinct MI300X accelerators, specialized chips designed to compete head-to-head with NVIDIA's dominant GPUs. With the OpenAI deal now secured, AMD has the validation and revenue stream needed to accelerate development. Company executives are projecting double-digit growth in AI chip revenue throughout 2025 and beyond. And with partnerships with tech giants like Microsoft and Google on cloud and AI solutions, the runway looks clear. The Xilinx integration is opening entirely new revenue streams. AMD is now expanding aggressively into automotive chips, 5G communications infrastructure, and IoT devices. These aren't just side projects. They're strategic diversifications that reduce dependence on traditional PC and server markets. The gaming sector remains important too, with ongoing collaborations with Sony and Nintendo ensuring AMD's technology will power the next wave of gaming innovation. However, the path forward isn't without obstacles. Export restrictions to China pose a significant challenge. AMD has forecasted a $1.5 billion revenue hit from U.S. curbs on chip exports. The company must also navigate an increasingly competitive landscape where Intel is fighting to regain relevance and nvidia continues to dominate AI acceleration. But AMD's leadership believes their focus on innovation, strategic partnerships, and market diversification will maintain their upward trajectory. The roadmap is clear. Zen 5 and future Zen iterations for CPUs, RDNA 4 and beyond for GPUs, and the MI300X family for AI acceleration. With each product cycle, AMD is pushing the boundaries of performance and efficiency. The company that nearly died in 2014 is now setting the pace for the entire semiconductor industry. AMD has completed one of the most remarkable turnarounds in tech history, transitioning from a company on the verge of bankruptcy to one of the most valued technology leaders in 2025. The October 2025 OpenAI deal represents not just a financial win, but a symbolic victory. AMD is now recognized as essential infrastructure for the AI revolution. The lessons from AMD's journey are clear. Constant innovation, bold strategic moves like the Xilinx acquisition, visionary leadership from Lisa Su, and relentless focus on key markets have been decisive. The company today enjoys a privileged moment in the global semiconductor market, with robust financial indicators and explosive growth in AI and data centers. But this story isn't over. AMD competes in an environment where giants like Intel and NVIDIA also innovate aggressively. The company must maintain its momentum, continue delivering technological breakthroughs, and execute flawlessly on its partnerships. The future of computing, from AI to gaming to autonomous vehicles, will be shaped by the chips AMD creates. In summary, AMD has consolidated its recovery through a clear technological roadmap and solid alliances, and the future looks incredibly promising. And as a conclusion to this story full of twists and turns, let's remember one maxim: don't be a scammer.